They're the first boots on the ground in a time of crisis.
We can come from the ship and project power ashore without having to rely on anybody else.
On call 24/7, responding to direct orders from the President of the United States.
Any crisis, any contingency, anywhere.
Take an exclusive look inside America's first strike force. This is a Marine Expeditionary Unit. Who are these exceptional fighters?
As an attack helicopter, I'm expected to be down low and kind of get into a knife fight.
What are their weapons of choice?
I've never been on the receiving end of artillery, but I don't ever want to either.
And how do they confront the enemy? Anywhere on the planet, on only a moment's notice. A force of U.S. Marines fights building to building. Driving thousands of insurgent militia from an urban battle zone. An armed mob threatens to overrun an American embassy. Marine Corps helicopters move in to evacuate the civilians. A U.S. Air Force pilot is shot down in hostile territory. It's up to a specially trained group of Marines to get him out. Urgent missions in locations across the globe. It's all in a day's work for any Marine Expeditionary Unit.
We are America's 911 force. We are ready to respond to any crisis overseas.
A Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MEU, is a self-contained amphibious force of roughly 2,200 Marines. The MEU is stationed on board 3 Navy ships, packing the weapons, vehicles, and personnel they'll need to carry out a wide range of rapid response missions.
Go.
The Corps operates 7 Marine Expeditionary Units, 3 in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, 3 based in Camp Pendleton, California, and 1 in Okinawa, Japan. At any given time, at least 2 of the MEUs are out on deployment, cruising international waters on constant standby, waiting for a call to action. The unique power of a MEU comes from their ability to respond to a crisis in a matter of hours.
The MEU is fundamentally different from other military units when they deploy. They actually go and forward deploy. They're aboard ships. They're actually being pushed around the map board to critical hotspots so that they can be pre-positioned just in case they're needed for a contingency.
Each MEU is made up of 4 main components: ground, air, logistics, and command. The ground combat element is armed with 6 howitzer cannons, 19 armored assault vehicles, 4 Abrams tanks, and 1,200 battle-ready troops.
We're 100% ready to go at all times.
The air combat element includes 16 medium and heavy lift helicopters, 2 Hueys, 4 Cobras, 6 Harrier jets, along with 350 airmen and maintenance crew. The Combat Logistics Battalion supports the fighting force with a vast assortment of supply trucks, maintenance and recovery vehicles, armored Humvees, and about 300 Marines and sailors.
They supply a wide variety of things. Obviously, ammunition, food, water is particularly important in a desert environment, spare parts, as well as repair and maintenance services as well.
The MEU relies on a fleet of Navy landing craft to get their machines and manpower from the ship to the beach.
You're getting those guys ashore. You're getting them ashore quickly.
The MEU command element of 200 officers and support staff pull it all together, putting the MEU forces on target to achieve mission objectives.
Our rapid response planning process is really the core of what we do.
The mission can be anything from taking out an enemy training camp to rescuing victims of a natural disaster. The MEU is designed to get boots on the ground ASAP. The unit's rapid response timeline demands a mere 6 hours between the receipt of a presidential go order and the launch of first forces.
There are many missions where if you don't go now, you will cede an advantage to the enemy in terms of time and space.
The MEU concept is born in the late 1940s, when a few so-called Marine afloat battalions are stationed on board amphibious ships left over from World War II. In the early 80s, they're officially designated Marine Expeditionary Units to emphasize the group's anytime, anywhere amphibious strike capability. It's a relatively small force that can take on an impressive variety of military missions. To see how they do it, we go inside the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit as they get ready for their next overseas deployment. We'll go inside the action as they train to launch complex missions at a moment's notice. Everything from urban warfare to hostage rescue, from riot control to amphibious raids.
We've got a lot of challenges to do to be able to make sure that we're able to do anything the nation needs us to do from almost any conditions, whether it be night, day, from the boat, from shore, a variety of conditions.
The training to be effective, it's got to be realistic. And since a MEU conduct real-world missions from the ship, that's how they train.
They are very tightly integrated, and that integration does not come easily. You have to go and conduct very challenging, very realistic, and sometimes even very dangerous training to get that way.
The 11th MEU operates from a naval fleet of 3 amphibious warships. The 844-foot Bonhomme Richard is the group flagship. Before they leave port, the Marines need to load enough supplies to sustain a military operation for at least 15 days. That's a big logistical challenge, considering the unpredictability of modern warfare.
We have to bring the capability to resupply ourselves. Food, water, logistics, bulk liquids, gas and oil, and so forth.
And space on board the ship is severely limited.
There is a tyranny of square foot. Only so many things fit on board the ship. And there is a careful mission analysis and some pretty decided negotiations that go into what do you bring and what do you leave.
This is where the logistics guys work their magic, finding ways to get the maximum use from a minimal amount of gear.
The expeditionary mindset is bring what you need to win the fight, but don't burden yourself with excessive creature comforts or things that might not be required.
Next up, loading 170 vehicles and 2,700 tons of weapons and ammo on board the 3 ships. With everything finally loaded, the 11th MEU leaves San Diego on an extended training exercise. For the next 3 weeks, they'll cruise off the Southern California coast, learning to launch attacks from the ship. The Bonhomme Richard is built for battle, not comfort. The Marines must adapt to the challenges of life aboard a Navy ship.
Life for a Marine and a ground combat element aboard amphibious ships is challenging. To say the least, he's cramped for space. He's going to sleep on what they call a coffin rack. He's going to eat in a galley, in a mess decks, and it's going to be a little bit crowded.
And how do you keep those Marines challenged? How do you sustain their skills? And you get some pretty creative onboard ship training.
A lot of gym time, a lot of classes, just try to stay busy so you just don't go crazy.
These guys keep busy working on the basics. Now it's time to step it up a notch. A battalion landing team of 200+ Marines is assembling in the hangar deck.
Getting intelligence here recently that in the northern island up near the airfield just south,
they have orders to raid an enemy outpost hidden ashore. It's only a training mission, but these troops treat it like the real deal.
Gents, we need to be prepared. However, we're getting some rules of engagement clarification and stuff right now. Right now, it's capture or kill.
Marines take their training seriously. I think we value training as something that's going to prepare us for the battlefield. When you do perfect practice, you get better at what you do.
So you'll link up just shy of phase line red.
Mission launch is less than 1 hour away. Squad leaders do a quick briefing, making sure each Marine knows his job.
We need to make sure that he understands the intent or the purpose of why he's ashore, because ultimately we're going to have to trust him to make decisions that could potentially have strategic implications.
The Marines will be making an amphibious landing on a hostile shoreline, a critical capability for the 7 MEUs.
Attention in the landing force. Attention in the landing force. This is a landing serial call away from T-Bar Control.
The troops head down to the well deck and board the landing craft. They do a final weapons check and load into their vehicles.